What if the biggest mistake of your career wasn't a bad decision, a wrong turn, or a failed project, but something so quiet, so invisible, that you didn't even notice it happening? What if the thing destroying your future right now is simply stopping? Not quitting your job, not making enemies, not burning bridges, just stopping to grow. Because here's the brutal truth nobody tells you at graduation: that diploma in your hand, it's not a finish line, it's a starting pistol. And the moment you treat it like the end, the moment you say "I've learned enough," the clock starts ticking. Silently, mercilessly. You won't feel it at first. Life feels normal, comfortable even. You show up, you work hard, you meet your deadlines. But somewhere out there, someone younger is studying at midnight. Someone hungrier is finishing their 3rd online course this month. Someone with less experience than you is quietly becoming more valuable than you. And one day, one completely ordinary Tuesday, you'll walk into the office and realize the world moved on without you. This is the story of a man who learned that lesson the hard way. His name was Rob Miller. 34 years old, project manager, 6 years of solid experience, a good worker, a dependable employee, and completely, dangerously stuck without even knowing it. Rob thought he was doing everything right. Steady promotions in the early years, a comfortable salary, a predictable routine. He showed up, he delivered, he survived. But surviving and growing, those are two very different things. And Rob had confused one for the other for far too long. The senior project manager position had been on Rob's radar for 2 full years. He had mentally rehearsed the conversation. He knew the projects he would lead. He had even imagined how it would feel to finally hear his name called. But the name they called wasn't Rob. It was Jessica. 28 years old, 3 years at the company, less experience, fewer projects, shorter resume. Rob sat in stunned silence as the announcement echoed through the office. That evening, he finally asked his supervisor the question burning in his chest. Why Jessica? Why not me? The answer was diplomatic, but it hit like a sledgehammer. Jessica brings a fresh perspective. She's been taking courses on agile methodology, AI integration, and advanced analytics. She's just more current. More current. Rob drove home in silence, those 2 words bouncing around his skull like a stone in an empty room. More current. He had 6 more years of experience. He had managed twice as many projects. He had given this company a decade of reliable, consistent, dedicated work. And none of it was enough. That night, sitting alone in his living room, Rob forced himself to do something uncomfortable. He looked in the mirror, not literally, but honestly. When was the last time he had read a business book? 7 years ago. Required for a college course. When was the last professional development workshop he attended? 5 years back. Only because the company made him go. Meanwhile, Jessica was listening to industry podcasts during her commute, taking online courses on weekends, attending conferences in her own time. Rob had watched her do all of this and thought she was simply overachieving, trying too hard, showing off. Now he realized something devastating. She wasn't overachieving. She was just never stopping. And Rob had stopped the moment he grabbed his diploma and walked off that graduation stage. He had treated his degree like a destination. Jessica treated hers like a departure gate. The difference between them wasn't talent. It wasn't luck. It wasn't even time. It was simply this. One of them kept growing, and one of them didn't. But this was only the first crack. The second blow, the one that would finally break Rob completely open, was still coming. and it would happen in front of 24 colleagues in a mandatory training room. 18 months passed. Rob kept showing up, kept working hard, kept telling himself that experience was enough. That real-world knowledge counted more than any certificate or online course. He buried the pain of Jessica's promotion under routine and denial. Then the company announced a major restructuring. They were pivoting toward AI-powered project management tools and data-driven decision-making. Every manager was required to attend a mandatory training session. Rob walked in that morning feeling relatively confident. He knew this company. He knew these projects. He knew this industry. Or so he thought. The trainer stood at the front of the room and asked what seemed like a simple warm-up question. Who here understands the basics of machine learning algorithms? 24 managers in that room. 19 hands went up, instantly, confidently, without hesitation. Rob's hand stayed on the table. He looked around slowly. Colleagues younger than him. Some he had personally mentored. Some who had joined the company after him. All of them sitting comfortably in a conversation he couldn't even enter. Words filled the room like a foreign language. Neural networks. Predictive analytics. Automation workflows. Intelligent pipelines. Rob understood none of it. He sat there, invisible, shrinking, a senior professional made to feel like a complete beginner, not because he lacked intelligence, but because he had stopped feeding it. The room buzzed with energy and discussion. Rob contributed nothing, said nothing, because he had nothing to offer. That evening, he did something he hadn't done in years. He walked into a bookstore. Not to browse casually, not to kill time, but to confront himself. He moved through the business section, pulling book after book from the shelves. AI and digital transformation. Leadership in the modern age. Data-driven strategy. Agile frameworks for the future. Every single book had been published in the last 3 years. Every single one contained knowledge that was now considered essential in his field. And he knew none of it. He sat in the bookstore cafe until closing time. Cold coffee in his hands. A stack of books on the table in front of him, each one representing a gap, a missed year. A chapter of growth he had simply skipped. The crushing truth finally settled over him like a heavy blanket he couldn't shake off. He wasn't stuck because he wasn't working hard enough. He wasn't stuck because of bad luck or office politics or unfair bosses. He was stuck because he had stopped growing. Full stop. No excuses left. For the first time in years, Rob had nowhere to hide from the truth. But rock bottom has a funny way of placing the right person directly in your path. 3 days after that training room humiliation, Rob stepped into an elevator and came face to face with the one person whose words would either destroy his last shred of confidence or light the fire that changed everything. 3 days after the training room, Rob was still carrying that weight, that specific kind of heaviness that comes not from exhaustion, but from truth. The kind you can't sleep off. The kind that follows you into the office every morning and sits beside you at your desk all day. He stepped into the elevator on a completely ordinary Wednesday morning. And there she was, Eleanor Chen, 62 years old, CEO of the entire company, a woman known throughout the industry for her razor-sharp mind, her relentless energy, and her absolute refusal to slow down. She was standing in the corner of the elevator, reading a book. Rob glanced at the title almost instinctively. The Future of Work, AI, Automation, and Human Creativity. Eleanor caught him looking. She smiled warmly. Good book, just came out last month. Have you read it? Rob shook his head. And then, without even thinking, the words just fell out of his mouth. I don't read much business stuff anymore. Too busy. The moment he said it, he felt it. That familiar justification, That comfortable excuse he had been wrapping himself in for years like a worn-out coat. Too busy, too tired, too experienced to need it. Eleanor's smile didn't disappear completely, but something behind her eyes shifted. Not judgment, something quieter than that. Something that looked almost like sadness, like she had seen this before, like she had perhaps lived this before. The elevator doors opened to her floor. She stepped out. Then she paused, turned back, and looked at Rob with calm and steady eyes. And she said it. 7 words. The moment you stop learning, you become irrelevant. The doors closed. Rob stood alone in that elevator, those 7 words hanging in the air around him like smoke. He rode up 2 more floors, got off, sat at his desk, and stared at his screen without seeing anything on it for a very long time. That evening, he opened his laptop. He stared at the blank email compose window for several minutes. Then he started typing. Short, direct, honest in a way he hadn't allowed himself to be in years. Mrs. Chen, I think I've made a terrible mistake. I stopped learning after college, and I don't know how to start again. Can you help me? He hovered over the send button. CEOs don't mentor mid-level managers. She probably received hundreds of emails a day. She would never respond. This was embarrassing. This was desperate. He pressed send anyway. Then he closed the laptop and went to bed, fully expecting silence. But the next morning, 1 new email sat waiting in his inbox. My office, tomorrow, 7 a.m. Bring a notebook. Rob read it 3 times. Then he got up, walked to the kitchen, and found an unused notebook in the back of a drawer. He placed it on the counter for the morning. For the first time in a very long time, he felt something unfamiliar stir inside his chest. Not confidence, not certainty, just a small, fragile, stubborn flicker of hope. Rob arrived at Eleanor's office at 6:55 a.m., 5 minutes early, notebook gripped in both hands like a lifeline. He had barely slept, not from anxiety exactly, but from something he hadn't felt in years. Anticipation. Eleanor was already there, not preparing, not warming up, already working. A stack of books on her desk. A laptop open to 3 different online course platforms simultaneously. At 62 years old, the CEO of an entire company, and she was studying before 7 in the morning. That image alone hit Rob harder than any words could. She gestured to the chair across from her desk without looking up. Sit. Let me tell you a story first. Eleanor leaned back and began. When she was 40 years old, she was already a vice president at a major firm. 2 degrees, 18 years of experience, a reputation that preceded her into every room. She thought she had arrived. Thought she knew everything the business world required of her. Then, the internet happened. E-commerce exploded. Digital marketing rewrote every rule she had ever learned. And Eleanor watched, helplessly, furiously, as her company began promoting younger people who understood this new world while she fell further and further behind. So she made a decision that terrified her. At 42 years old, she enrolled in night classes. Web development. Digital transformation. She sat in classrooms surrounded by 22-year-olds who had never heard of half the companies she had built. She felt foolish. She felt exposed. She felt like a complete beginner. But she learned. And that's when she discovered the most important truth of her entire career. Your formal education gives you a foundation. Your continuous education determines your ceiling. She reached behind her desk and pulled out 2 plants, placed them side by side in front of Rob. One was vibrant and green, reaching upward with new leaves still unfurling. The other was withered, yellowing, barely holding on. Same species, same size, bought at exactly the same time. This one, she pointed to the healthy plant. I water regularly. I give it sunlight. I fertilize it monthly. I rotate its position toward the light. It keeps growing. This one, she pointed to the dying plant. I watered it for the first month, then stopped. I figured I already watered it. It should be fine. She looked directly at Rob. Your brain is that plant. Your college degree was the initial watering. But if you stop feeding it new knowledge, new perspectives, new skills, it doesn't matter how much you watered it before. It dies. Rob stared at those two plants and felt something crack open quietly inside his chest. Then Eleanor opened her notebook and wrote down a framework she called the 3-hour learning week. Simple. Sustainable. Non-negotiable. Monday morning, 30 minutes before work. Read 20 pages of an industry book or watch one educational talk on something outside your current expertise. Wednesday evening, 30 minutes. One online course module or one podcast episode on emerging trends inside your field but new to you. Saturday morning, 2 full hours. Deep dive. Work on one certification, one project, one real skill application. Not just reading about something, actually building it, practicing it, creating something with it. Then she added 3 rules that she called completely non-negotiable. Rule 1, the 5-year obsolescence principle. If you learned something more than 5 years ago and haven't refreshed that knowledge since, assume it is partly wrong or dangerously outdated. Go back, update it. Rule 2, the beginner's mind. Once every quarter, learn something that genuinely frightens you, something your ego resists, something that makes you feel like a complete novice again. Your ego will hate every second of it. Your brain will absolutely love it. Rule 3, the application test. If you cannot explain what you learned to another person or apply it directly in your work within 1 month, you didn't really learn it. You just consumed it. And consuming without applying is nothing more than expensive entertainment. Eleanor closed her notebook and looked at Rob steadily. 6 months. 6 months of the 3-hour learning week. Every single week without exception. After 6 months, come back and show me what you built, what you learned, how you changed. She paused. But if you quit after 3 weeks because life gets busy, don't bother coming back. The world doesn't need more people who stopped growing. Rob felt the full weight of the challenge settle over him. But underneath that weight, something else. Something solid and warm and determined. I'll do it, he said. I won't quit. Eleanor smiled slowly. We'll see. Everyone says that. Monday morning, 6 a.m. Rob's alarm cut through the silence like a blade. He hadn't set an alarm this early voluntarily in years. He lay there for exactly 3 seconds, then got up. Made coffee. Sat down at the kitchen table, opened the first book Eleanor had recommended, AI for Project Managers: A Practical Guide. His brain felt like an engine starting after a long, cold winter. Sluggish. Resistant. The concepts were unfamiliar and dense. He had to reread paragraphs 3 times, sometimes 4, before they began making sense. Every page reminded him how much time he had lost, how wide the gap had grown. But he didn't stop. The first month was genuinely brutal. Rob's calendar was already packed. Finding 3 hours a week felt less like a commitment and more like surgery, cutting out pieces of his existing life to make room for something new. His Monday evening television show was gone. His Saturday morning sleep-ins disappeared. His Wednesday evening doing absolutely nothing time, gone. His wife noticed almost immediately. She walked into the kitchen one Saturday morning to find him already at the table at 6 a.m., notebook open, laptop running, coffee steaming beside a stack of printed course materials. "What on earth has gotten into you?" she asked. Rob looked up, and for the first time in years, he answered a question about his career with complete honesty. "I'm trying to stop being obsolete." She walked over, kissed his forehead gently. "About time," she said softly, and walked away. Those 2 words meant more to Rob than she probably realized, because they confirmed what he had been quietly suspecting, that the people closest to him had noticed the stagnation long before he admitted it to himself. He kept going. Week 3. Week 4. His brain slowly began waking up. The rust was lifting. Concepts that had seemed impossibly foreign in week 1 were beginning to connect, to click, to form patterns he could actually use. Then, week 6 arrived, and everything changed. Rob was working through a module on agile project management when something remarkable happened. A problem he had been struggling with at work for 3 months suddenly became completely clear. His team had been using an outdated waterfall approach on a project that desperately needed flexibility and iteration. He could see it now with absolute clarity: the inefficiency, the bottleneck, the solution. He walked into his supervisor's office that afternoon with a fully formed proposal, a new sprint-based system built on frameworks and terminology he had learned just weeks earlier. His supervisor read through it slowly, then looked up with an expression Rob hadn't seen directed at him in years. "Rob, this is really good. Where did you learn this?" "I've been taking a course," Rob said simply. 3 words, but the way his supervisor looked at him in that moment told Rob everything. For the first time in 3 years, he wasn't being seen as the guy who was simply there. He was being seen as someone moving, someone growing, someone worth watching. He enrolled in a 10-week certification program on data analytics. Saturday mornings became sacred. He worked through exercises methodically, built dashboards from scratch, learned the basics of Python. His colleagues started noticing the change in him, not just professionally, but personally. The way he carried himself had shifted. The quiet confidence that comes not from pretending to know everything, but from actively learning something new every single week. Then, Jessica, the manager promoted over him 18 months earlier, stopped by his desk one afternoon. "Hey, I saw you're taking that analytics course. I'm really struggling with the visualization section. Would you mind helping me?" Rob helped her, walked her through the entire module step by step. And sitting there, teaching someone else what he had learned, something shifted permanently inside him. The jealousy he had carried for almost 2 years simply dissolved. Because jealousy lives in stagnation, it cannot survive alongside genuine growth. Month 5 arrived. The company announced another restructuring. This time they needed someone to lead a brand new division, Senior Director of AI Integrated Project Management. It was a massive leap, a role that would have been completely unreachable for the Rob who sat invisible in that training room just 5 months earlier. Rob didn't apply immediately. He spent 2 additional weeks finishing a course specifically on machine learning project workflows. Then, he built a portfolio. 3 detailed case studies created entirely during his Saturday learning sessions, showing precisely how AI tools could transform their existing projects. Real applications, real data, real results, not theoretical knowledge dressed up in impressive language, actually applied, actually tested, actually proven work. His portfolio walked into that interview room and spoke louder than any resume ever could. 6 months to the exact day. Rob walked into Eleanor's office at 7 a.m., same time, same chair, but an entirely different man sitting in it. He placed a folder on her desk without saying a word. Eleanor picked it up, opened it slowly, and began reading. Inside that folder was not a list of promises, not a collection of good intentions, not a motivational speech about how hard he had tried. It was evidence. 4 completed industry certifications, 12 books read cover to cover, each one with detailed handwritten notes in the margins, key insights highlighted, action points circled. 3 implemented process improvements at work, each one documented with measurable before and after results that the company could actually see and quantify. And sitting on top of everything else, crisp and undeniable, 1 accepted offer letter. Senior Director of AI Integrated Project Management. A 40% salary increase. A brand new division to lead, a future that 6 months earlier had been completely invisible to him. Eleanor read through every single page slowly and carefully. The room was completely quiet. Rob sat across from her, hands relaxed in his lap, breathing steadily. He wasn't nervous. He wasn't performing. He was simply present. Finally, Eleanor looked up. Her eyes were warm. Something in her expression carried the quiet satisfaction of a person who had taken a risk on someone and watched that risk become something real. "You did it," she said softly. "You actually did it." Rob shook his head gently. "I didn't just do it," he said. "I became a different person." And that was the truth, not an exaggeration. Not a motivational line rehearsed for effect. The man sitting in that chair had the same name, the same face, the same family, waiting at home. But everything underneath had been rebuilt. His confidence came from a different place now, not from years on a resume, but from the living, breathing, daily practice of never stopping. Even after the 6 months ended, Rob kept going. Monday mornings, Wednesday evenings, Saturday deep dives, not because Eleanor was watching, not because a promotion was waiting, but because somewhere during those 6 months, learning had stopped being a task on his calendar and started being simply who he was. And here is what Rob's story is really about. Because it was never just about one man in one company in one city. It is about every single person watching this right now who recognized themselves somewhere in that story. Maybe you saw yourself in Rob sitting invisible in that training room. Maybe you felt the sting of watching someone younger move past you. Maybe you haven't read a single book related to your field in 2, 3, 4 years. Maybe you've been telling yourself that experience is enough, that showing up is enough, that working hard is enough. It isn't. Not anymore. Not in this world. Every industry is shifting beneath our feet right now. Technology that didn't exist 5 years ago is today's required knowledge. Skills that made you valuable in 2020 are quietly becoming optional in 2025 and completely obsolete by 2030. The professionals pulling ahead right now, earning more, leading more, living more, are not necessarily the most talented people in the room. They are simply the ones who never stopped growing. And here is the most important thing. The thing Eleanor told Rob, and the thing that this success storyline was built to tell you. Your formal education gave you a foundation, but your continuous education determines your ceiling. So right now, not tomorrow, not Monday, not after the next big project settles down, right now, here is your challenge. Step 1. Choose one skill gap that is genuinely holding you back. Not 5. Just 1. AI literacy, public speaking, financial modeling, data analysis, digital leadership. Pick one and commit to it completely. Step 2. Block 3 hours in your calendar this week. Non-negotiable. Monday morning 30 minutes, Wednesday evening 30 minutes, Saturday morning 2 full hours. Treat that time like a meeting with the most important person in your life, because you are scheduling a meeting with your future self. Step 3. Find one high-quality resource and start today. One book, one online course, Coursera, LinkedIn Learning, YouTube. The resource matters far less than the decision to begin. Stop researching the perfect starting point and simply start. And remember the rule that Eleanor made non-negotiable: within 1 month, apply what you were learning. Use it in a presentation. Teach it to a colleague. Implement it in a real project. Build something with it. Because learning without application is just entertainment. Application is what turns knowledge into results. Application is what turns results into opportunity. Application is what turns opportunity into the life you have been waiting for. Rob almost became one of those people who spent 40 years in a career but only grow for 5. He almost let comfort become his ceiling. He almost let the quiet passage of time steal everything he was capable of becoming. He didn't. And neither do you have to. This is the Success Storyline, and every single week on this channel we bring you stories exactly like Rob's. Real transformations, real strategies, real people who decided that stopping was never going to be an option and rebuilt their lives because of that decision. If this story moved something in you today, if somewhere in these 7 parts you recognized yourself, your career, your potential, then do 3 things right now. Hit that like button. Let that one small click be your first act of commitment. Your silent promise to yourself that you are choosing growth over comfort starting today. Drop a comment below and tell us specifically, concretely, one skill you are committing to learn in the next 6 months. We read every single comment on the Success Storyline, every one, and we will hold you to it. And share this story with one person in your life who needs to hear it. Someone who has stopped growing, someone who is stuck and doesn't quite know why, someone who is watching opportunities pass them by and deserves to know it is not too late. It is never too late, as long as you are willing to begin. Because the day you stop learning is the day you start disappearing. And you were not built to disappear. You were built to grow. Welcome to the Success Storyline. Now go build your ceiling.